If your category pages look like a wall of product tiles and not much else, then you're leaving traffic and conversions on the table. Today, I'm going to break down what makes a perfect category page, what Google loves, what your customers want, and how to fix yours if it's underperforming. Hi, my name's Adam. I've been an e-commerce SEO for the last 10 years and I run Minster SEO, working with clients today to improve their SEO stores. If you'd like to find out how I could improve yours, click on the link below in the description and get a free 5-minute video audit delivered this week. Let's jump into today's topic, and that's category pages. And what I find working with clients when I first start with them is that most are quite obsessed with their product pages and optimizing their homepage. And that's all fine, but if you want to rank for high intent keywords and actually help your customers browse and buy, then it's category pages that are where the magic happens. They're often a landing page from Google search. They're the join between somebody browsing and somebody buying. And for this reason, they are crucial for optimization if you want to maximize the business returns of your e-commerce store. And yet, unfortunately, the most ones I see are either undercooked, unloved, or just plain forgotten. In a moment, I'm going to share with you a real life example of a business that's doing category pages well and one that could really improve. But before jumping into that, why don't we consider what makes an ideal category page? Now let's start at the top of the page. You should have a very clear, keyword focused heading that is not playing with language and is not trying to be clever. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So that might be beginners knitting kits or natural dog treats, for example. And then below that, you want 1 to 2 lines of introductory text that just explain what the page is about. Not too much. We're not looking for an essay here. We certainly don't want to break the flow of your shopper's journey across the site, but just enough that the search engines and the shopper both know that they've landed on the right page. Ideally, that copy needs to include 1 or 2 semantically linked terms to what the page is about, so similar but not identical phrases to the keyword. And if you can smuggle an H2 in there, then even better. The main thing though is context and clarity and just confidence to talk about what the products are on that page. Scanning down the page, the next part, the bulk, is going to be your product tiles, and this needs to be perfectly set up for your customers. Now, the number one thing they need to be able to do is filter and sort, because chances are you've got a lot of products and your customers don't want to be bombarded with 80, 100, 200 different products. They want to filter into running shoes for women, size 8 by Adidas. That's the kind of filtering system that we need in place to get the best conversion rates that we can achieve. Include star ratings, badges, free shipping, offer this week, half price today, that kind of thing that just makes it very easy for the shopper to scan the site and pick exactly what it is that they are looking for. And most importantly, use big, clear images, ideally that fit in with your brand, so there is some connection between each of the images, but that they are big enough and bold enough that they are easy to browse and it jumps out at the shopper what the product is just from the image and the clarity of that image. And don't restrict yourself to just images of the product. Get some lifestyle images in there. What does it look like as the product is being sold? That scarf you're trying to sell looks a lot better wrapped around somebody's neck and walking outdoors on an autumn day than it does just against a white studio background, for example. And then we scroll down again and we hit the bottom of the page, and this is where there are additional opportunities to improve your SEO. We can add more copy. We can add FAQs, for example, which is a great way of both batting away your customers' concerns and triggering a few more relevant terms for the search engines. And it's not going to be visible on the page, but don't forget to include schema in there so that again Google can go, I know what this page is about, and by using that schema code it makes it so much easier for me to index it and rank it, and therefore I'm likely to rank it higher. And all of those elements, that top, the title and the introductory copy, and then the middle of the page where you've got your product tiles, and the bottom of the page where we've got FAQs and additional context, they are the simple elements that make up a really good category page. And now I think it's time we should have a look at that in action. What does that good category page look like versus one that could do better? And the niche I've picked is beginners knitting kits. Now I'm not into knitting, I have no experience of it, but it just felt like a decent little cottage industry kind of play niche that we could hone in on. And the two sites I've got are here. We've got the craftystitch.co.uk with a DR of 14, and then we've got woolzone.co.uk with a DR of 12. So very similar rankings and very similar products, but this one is in position 1 in the Google UK search, and this one is on page 4. Now, the Crafty Stitch is a great example of a website doing category page as well. They've got a very clean and self-explanatory URL. So collection/beginner friendly knit kits, brilliant. And then they've got knitting kits. Could be better maybe by having beginner knitting kits, but hey, they're ranking number 1, so Google's fine with it. And the reason being they've got beginner knitting kits that include everything you need to start knitting. So like I say, that really simple 1 or 2 lines of copy that hit the brief of what the page is about clearly, succinctly, and using relative search terms. And then we scroll down to the main part of the page, the product tiles. You know, they're bold, they're clean, they're all on brand. We've got similar colours in the background. We've got the same style of wording and lettering at the front of the image. Everything sorted already by beginners kits, and we've got more options for sorting here from 106 different products, alphabetical, price, date, etc. And of course all of this looks great to a shopper. It doesn't scream SEO. There's no additional copy at the bottom of the page, and there reasonably could be, but these guys are still knocking it out of the park. Let's compare that to the Woolzone website, and we start with a longer URL, product category /kits/knitting kits, and then we've got knitting kits here as the H1, which, you know, is what we had here, but we followed it with beginning knitting kits, and here there is no breakdown in the copy. So there is a bit of copy, but it just hits knitting projects in kit form, and it does say knitting kits for all abilities. And what's the first thing we notice? Well, no filters, so I can't filter by price, I can't filter by how experienced I am or anything like that. And then the images, well, they're all a bit haphazard, so they don't feel like they are branded images. Some of them are cut off, some of them are against White Studio, some of them are lifestyle, but they've obviously been lifted from something else. And there are 5 in a row here versus the 3 that we had here. And just switching between them, you can see one feels really compelling and I want to browse it, and the other one feels like a wall of product tiles. And when I get to the bottom, there is no extra content, there are no FAQs, there's nothing to lead me anywhere else. All I can see is that I'm staring down the barrel of 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, 60, 80 plus products that I have to surf one at a time effectively to find anything that I might be interested in. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a terrible page. I'm being harsh in some ways for dramatic effect, but it is a page buried on page 4 of Google, so it might as well be invisible. And these guys have got nothing to lose by tackling a more specific category page. So if they selected from this list of 80 odd products the 20 that are suitable for beginners and move them onto a beginners knitting kits page, they might just find they're suddenly ranking a lot better and bringing in more traffic. And then there is some fine tuning that can be made: bigger product images, more consistent product images, better copy at the top of the page, a bit of FAQ or something like that at the bottom of the page, and all of these things would fairly rapidly, I suspect, see the Woolzone move up the rankings to perform better for those beginner knitting kits keywords. So there we go. In a nutshell, there's simple differences between a strong category page and a not so strong category page. And the great news is none of anything I've talked about today requires a developer. This is just a few minutes or an hour's work, somebody that owns a Shopify store or is working on WooCommerce to sit down, create the new category page or modify an existing category page, and just hit that H1 and that copy your product tiles and the copy at the bottom of the page, and ideally a bit of schema as well. And again, that can be handled through plugin. That doesn't need to be developer led, and all of that will help you rank better, bring in more customers, sell more products, make more profit. Why not use this video as a checklist for your own category pages? What could you improve? And of course, don't forget, if you're busy running your business and would rather be working on it than working in it, then use the link below this video. You can reach out to me. I will do you a free video audit showing you 5 things that need improving on your website. Now, if you're ready to learn something else, why don't you click this video, which I think will be ideal for you, and find out a little bit more about how your e-commerce store could be ranking higher in Google with not a lot of effort. That's it till next time. Take care.